Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your post-game chat after the Packers pull out a thrilling victory over the New Orleans Saints, 18-17. Not often you get to see that score, especially after a week last week where it was 25-24. This week it's 18-17. Next week or on Thursday it'll probably be like 11-10. But as long as the Packers are victorious, that is all I care about. And the Packers were on a day where Matt LaFleur's crew really couldn't get much of anything going on offense for much of the game until the fourth quarter. And I got to say, I wrote this in Gut Reactions. I'm going to say right off the top right here. First of all, the fact that you come into this game down as many blue chip players as they were, and then lose a bunch of guys during the game and still find a way to win against a Saints defense, by the way, that is absolutely legit and as good as advertised. Yeah, that's a monster testament to Matt LaFleur. And I understand people will pick him apart all week long about how horrible it looked for three quarters, and with good reason. I am not saying he is completely above reproach or criticism or anything of the sort, because of course he's going to come in for a lot, and a lot of it is going to be justified. But I will say, in this league, whereas he has himself stated, no one cares. No one cares how many guys you're down, etc. It's a bottom line business. His guys found a way. He found a way. And that cannot be just dismissed or overlooked. It has to. I'm sorry, you got to lead with that, because that is a monster win from a game where, like I said, you could not get much of anything right on offense for much of the game. And then I will say, Jordan Love's a bit of a gunslinger. And I'm kind of loving it. Obviously, some of that is a reaction to the former quarterback who was very careful with the ball, etc. I understand there are going to be tough times, and he did have his first interception on the season this year, and for his, the season as a starter. He did look like he wanted, some illegal contact there, and I think if you go back and watch the tape, you probably see some, but that is life in the league. Some of those close calls aren't going to go your way. Certainly got a few later on in the fourth quarter. But in a game where it was very clear they were going to let them play, not only did Jordan Love never back down, but man, those receivers made some plays for him. Whether it was Reed laying out there on that kind of one up the right seam, whether it was Romeo Doubs at the left sideline, the touchdown catch by Doubs. I mean, it was very, very apparent that those guys wanted to maybe not make amends, but they wanted to make plays for their starting quarterback. They wanted to make plays for their team. And man, that is one of the most exciting comebacks I have ever witnessed. Largest comeback, I believe, in franchise history from the fourth quarter. As far as like number of points overcome, that is just outstanding stuff from a team that, obviously I think a lot of folks would say looked pretty dead heading into the fourth quarter. Corey and I were talking on the watch party how, get a score here and then march it down and get a stop and blah, blah, blah. And you never know. It's never, ever over. As Jordan said in his post-game press conference, game's never over until it's over. A lot of ball game left. And today is the crystallization of that idea. There was a lot of ball game left, and the Packers stuck with it, made the plays that needed to be made, and now they're sitting at 2-1 on a short week, getting ready to welcome the Detroit Lions to Lambeau. And let me tell you, you got to hope that butcher's bill, that list of walking wounded, hopefully maybe gets reduced just a little bit. Now, I know they've got injuries coming out of this. We're not going to know much about Zach Tom, Devondre Campbell, although I know Devondre was on Twitter after the game saying he couldn't catch a break, which is, pretty true, pretty apt. And losing Carrington Valentine during the game, who was in there because Jair couldn't go because he hurt his back on Thursday at practice. Man, you talk about next man up and just having to deliver. Impressive. Such an impressive win overall. Now, we'll undoubtedly talk about the bad. I'm not even looking at the comments yet because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of negative comments, which I understand. I completely get coming off of that game. The biggest negative for me is just, it's twofold. There's two things. The obvious penalties and or shooting yourselves in the foot, all the self-inflicted wounds was just hard to stomach through much of that game, but especially in the first half. And then giving up that touchdown on the punt return, I mean, none of this drama is necessary if they just do their job and don't let someone run back a fucking punt for a touchdown. You know, as frustrating as Joe Barry's defense is, and it is frustrating in the year of our Lord 2023 to see Jimmy fucking Graham in the end zone and pretending to do a Lambo leap. As frustrating as Joe Barry's defense can be at times, without that punt return, it's 10 points on the day. And I understand Rashawn Gary knocked their quarterback out. That is part of the game. And we have certainly seen backup quarterbacks come in and have success against the Green Bay Packers defense, regardless of who the defensive coordinator is. So, and it's not like Jameis Winston ain't started a ton of games in the NFL either. So there's no apologizing. You take the W and you move on with a ton to correct coming off of it, without question. All that said, let's get to your chats here. What's going on in the comments section? Whole bunch of people checking. I got 11 super chats already. Holy cow. Joe, what's up, man? Thanks for super chat. I went from what the hell is going on out there to what the hell did I just see? Kudos to the defense for making the crazy comeback possible. They did. They got the stops that were necessary. And that was the whole key as far as limiting their ability to push the ball down the field, limiting what they were able to do in the run game. The fact that Carmichael really got away from the run game was surprising to me. I think the Packers dissuaded him with their ability along the interior. I wrote about that in Gut Reactions. No matter how hard they tried, they could not get anything going between the tackles. Now, I think they did get stuff going outside, and I thought they'd get to that more. I understand they're down a number of backs. Obviously, I think it's probably different if Jamal Williams plays, but as we just talked about, no one cares, man. It's not like the Packers weren't banged up as well. So, yeah, I think the fact that they seemingly had to continuously throw the ball, even with a lead, or they felt the need to, really helped the Packers. And obviously, Rashawn Gary absolutely took the game over. I mean, 3 sacks, absolutely wrecking people up front. You can't say enough about the job he did. And not even on some of the plays where, he's not even primarily a part of the tackle or whatever, or the play itself. He certainly set a tone and certainly came, pretty much put that right tackle in hell for much of the game. But yeah, the fact that the defense did what was necessary to keep them in the game is, it shouldn't be lost. Soder, thanks to Super Chat, man. Starters out, penalties, drops, giving up special teams points. Ceiling is high for this team if they can get healthy and clean up some of the little things. Yeah, it's the procedure stuff. It's the pre-snap stuff. That's what kills you, man. Like the holding or what have you. Like, okay, that's going to happen. I understand physical things will happen. And like the thing with Torre hitting the receiver for his block before the ball got caught because Love had to put it over a defender, so it probably slowed the rhythm of the play down a little bit. Also, that's a pretty ticky-tack call, something that doesn't get called every week. But like things like that, you can kind of live with the flow of the game penalty, right? It's the pre-snap stuff. It's the false start that instantly puts you back. It's like those are the frustrating ones. Those are the ones that absolutely drive you nuts. Those have to get cleaned up. No question about it. Tanner, really appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you, buddy. Riley, thank you for the super chat. Love was fantastic, including several big-time throws that were dropped or well-defended. Defense played well down the stretch, but I suspect we would have a different finish if Carr finishes the game. Yeah, I don't know about the Carr thing. I mean, possibly. Absolutely, possibly. But, for much of the time, it looked like the Packers finally ratcheted things up a little bit on the defensive side because Carr was living with checkdowns and living with low crossers and living with, like, very few air yards. It's not like he was attacking them deep, and because he was taking what they were giving them. Possibly it does, but who knows? Like I said, it's not like Jameis hasn't started a boatload of games in the NFL. He can't run the offense. Of course he can't. Love made some big time throws. You talk about stones. Oh my God, some of those throws. Like I said at the top, he's a bit of a gunslinger, and I'm kind of loving it. I will say, I'd really like to see him stop throwing to Samori Toure down that deep post down the middle of the field. Last week, it was double covered. This week, it was triple covered. Let's take that one out of the playbook, shall we? And I understand that's not what he's seeing. He thinks he's going to get behind it. And it's like he wasn't triple covered when he threw it. I understand that. But let's stop trying to get Toure down the stretch, down the seam, right? That deep post down the middle. Like, let's just take that out of the playbook. Probably his worst throw of the day. And I heard, he did mention it in the post-game presser. The seam ball to Musgrave, that's a TD. That should absolutely be a touchdown. And I understand Musgrave maybe turned his head, whatever, but you lay it up, give it enough air. I think he's just, he's got that thing. We've talked about it where he is so geeked up at the start of these games. He's kind of flailing a little bit. He's kind of sailing things. He's kind of off rhythm, off the mark, what have you. But man, you get to the fourth quarter, he is throwing fucking dimes. You love what you saw from Jordan in the fourth quarter. So yeah, lots to work on there. And of course, as football people always say, really love being able to work on shit after a win rather than a loss. Doug Hype is here. What's up, Doug? Let's go. Should we play the Jordan Love knock video? New hype video incoming soon. Ooh, let's go. Let's go. Abdul, thanks for the super chat, man. My first Packers home game. What's up, Abdul? What a win. Do you think we kept all those guys out because they'll play Thursday, so they didn't have to play 2 games in 5 days? No, I do not. I think if the medical staff says they're good to go, and they'll play. So I know Matt was asked about that, I think on Friday or maybe Thursday. Yeah, I don't think Thursday plays much into it. Snowboard, thanks for the super chat, man. I did not watch the game with high expectations. By half, I was like, we lost. To watch that comeback, talk about chills, to watch, a.k.a. Tom Brady Super Bowl, or Sugar Bowl, as you've written here. Yeah, I don't know about all that, but, man, it's fun to watch him come back and win in Lambeau. It's pretty fucking great. And I will say, I just want to address this really quick. I saw there's some people on the chat, and I saw some people on Twitter talking about Lambeau, right, being, like, down or morose or booing or what have you. And it's like, yeah, you got to give him something to cheer for. Those first 3 quarters, there wasn't a whole lot of product on the field that would get you up out of your seat and excited. So I have zero problems with the crowd at Lambeau today. In fact, I thought they came alive when the team did. It's a reciprocal, relationship. So I got no problem with Lambeau today. Andrews Paradise, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Love looks a little bit Favre and a little bit Rodgers. It's like seeing someone's kids when you know both parents. That is not crazy. I don't think that's a crazy comparison because, like I said, he is a fucking gunslinger, but he knows the offense really well. And he knows it's interesting to watch him operate at the line of scrimmage. It's pretty eerily similar to Aaron. And I will say the frustrating part is continuously, and I mean continuously, taking that play clock down to 0. I mean, we're back, baby. It's like Aaron never left. Starting to think that might be a LaFleur thing. Who knows? Brian, thanks to the super chat, man. Next, can we get the Reggie White, another great win for the Green Bay Packers? These fans deserve it on social media. Brian, yes, I got to find it. I was looking for it last week and I couldn't find it. But yes, I've got it somewhere. And absolutely 1,000,000,000% I will get it out there, Brian. Dan, thanks to the super chat, man. I really like the 80s vibe on the intro. Hats off to your editor. This game took all my energy, but we won in the end. Let's smash the Lions on Thursday. Absolutely, Dan. And yes, that is all Tyler's work. Tyler Herrick here at Cheesehead TV, the man, the myth, the legend, who is in Green Bay currently, if I remember right. Carl, thanks to the super chat, man. LaFleur was emotional post-game. He loves his team. People dissing the D, which was messy at times, but they allowed 10 offensive points. No doubt about it. It's just frustrating in the moment. Hey, you guys know I'm frustrated as hell when I watch this team live, playing 20 yards off. Drives me insane. I mean, you give up a touchdown to Jimmy Graham. I'm sorry, you deserve everything you get. I can't hate on people criticizing the D. Natty D, thanks for super chat. When do you think Stokes will be back? He's got to miss 4 games. So after the Lions game, when they return that following week, he can begin to practice. Now, that's not automatic, but he can begin to practice. But then they've got a 21-day window where they have to decide whether to activate him to the 53-man roster or put him on IR for the remainder of the year, and he'd be out for the season. So pretty important window coming up the weekend, or actually the Monday into kind of that week after this Lions game. Vex, thanks to the super chat, man. I believe in Jordan Love, but 44 pass attempts? No. Yeah, well, they don't have much of a running game. You just want them to bang it into the line 3 times and punt? When they're running inside zone toss to A.J. Dillon, and A.J.'s running into the defensive tackle, and you're in 2nd and 9, yeah, you're going to throw the ball. I just, I don't know what you want, Vex. I know at halftime you want LaFleur fired. So now are we okay? Is LaFleur still fired, or in the land of Vex, how are we doing, baby? Matthew, what's up, man? Thanks for super chat. Victory love for Cheesehead TV, Nags. Go Pack Go. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for the support. Really appreciate it, brother. Godsmack, what's up, man? Shout out to the Packers fans who showed up to the game. They did their job. Loud and disruptive, down by 3 scores. Go Pack Go. I mean, I had a bunch of comments on Twitter saying that it sounded so loud at Lambeau. And of course, while Corey and I are watching the game, we don't have the audio. So I don't know. But man, I'm excited to go back and watch the broadcast for that very reason. Tyler, thanks for the super chat, man. What a win and what a game by Matt and Jordan Love with his poise. What are we thinking of Dylan's use moving forward? Thinking they need Aaron Jones back in the worst way. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know, man. I was fascinated to see how they really leaned into Patrick Taylor down the stretch of this game. Kind of tells you how they feel about A.J. Dillon, I think, especially in a situation where they have to hurry up and throw it around the yard. And, A.J. is not going to be of much use in that situation. So, yeah, I don't know, man. He's a battering ram who needs to be used judiciously at this point. And maybe if they're salting away a lead is probably the best way to utilize him. But, yeah, it's another tough day for A.J., no doubt. Reeves, thanks for the super chat, man. I can't remember, or maybe ma'am, sorry. I can't remember. When was the last time the Packers completely dismantled and annihilated a team that wasn't named the Chicago Bears? I don't know, man. I'm just enjoying a big come-from-behind, historic, by the way, come-from-behind victory over the New Orleans Saints. I'm not sure. But I'll tell you what. Dismantling or annihilating someone in September doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot come December or January. So that's probably why I can't remember off the top of my head. The Packers annihilated or took apart the Chicago Bears, the Tennessee Titans over the years, like blah, 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 but it didn't result in the championship. Like, those games feel nice and they're great and they have a ball during them, and I'm not knocking it. I love it. But, man, long term, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Like I know the Dolphins will put up 70 points today against the Broncos. That's not going to mean a whole lot when they have to go to like Buffalo in December. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Ryan, thanks for super chat. Barry didn't press until he had to press. True story. Very much a true story. And I will say it was interesting how like Valentine goes out and they're like Valentine's out there and they got Rasul and they're like, all right, we're pressing. Fascinating to see that come to fruition. I mean, I did joke on Twitter. He had that one, the 4th down where they were all lined up in press. And I was like, the only reason he did that is because they knew they were never going to snap the ball, and they didn't. Jano, thanks for the super chat. Disappointed in Lambeau not playing a love song. Oh, didn't they? I don't know. I'm obviously not there, so I'm not sure. But, yeah, I'm with you. That's disappointing if that's the truth. Adam, thanks for the super chat, man. Big win. Bring on the Fighting Dan Campbells. Yeah, man, I don't know. You heard Matt in the postgame, or maybe you didn't. They're a good, strong, physical football team that has knocked the Packers around quite a bit in the last couple meetings. And short week, at least they're at home. That's the one saving grace. But I tell you what, they come out looking like they came out today. That shit's gonna be over real soon. It's gonna get late real early on Thursday night if they come out and do all the crap they did early on in this game. Because unlike the Saints, Jared Goff can throw it around the yard and they can hurt you offensively in a way the Saints really can't. Kieran, thanks to the super chat. Jordan, fucking love, baby. Lots to work on for sure, but gotta love the heart and his ability to perform in the clutch. Continuing concerns about Dylan. I don't understand. Why is everyone so like fascinated or like fixated on Dylan? Like, he is what he is. He's a big back. He's not a dynamic presence by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think anyone expects that now. But they just had this humongous come-from-behind victory, big win, and people are talking about A.J. Dillon. Like, I don't get it. Like, I get he'd had another disappointing performance. But there are a million. I haven't gotten one comment here from you super chatters about, like, the amazing catch that Reed had up the right seam or the incredible sky touchdown taken away from a dude that Dobbs had in the end zone. It's A.J. Dillon. What about A.J. Dillon? Man, they won. They won. Y'all talking about A.J. Dillon? I don't get it. I don't get it. Matt, thanks for super chat. Thoughts on the Sean Payton tenure in Denver? Oh, it's a real shame. It's a real shame. And I will say, it's very interesting to watch Sean Payton get boat raced while Mike McCarthy's in Dallas just winning football games and apparently having his offense humming. Very interesting. But Sean Payton's the fucking genius, and Mike McCarthy is just a buffoon. Oh, it's interesting. That's interesting. It's very interesting. AZ Packer, thanks for the super chat, man. Really had the doubts early, but love being basic rookie really shows how he can run that team. Now really see what he does against the Lions. Well, I'll tell you what's surprising about Jordan. Like a lot of the miscues and the off timing with some of his receivers and things like that, I expected all of that. But what I did not expect is how fucking fearless he seems and how completely ice cold the blood in his veins must run. Like, there's just seems like nothing phases the kid in any capacity. Like the most upset I saw him get on it was on that Patrick Taylor, the throw on 4th and 2, where there's clearly a miscommunication. And he just a little bit of frustration came out there. And that's like the most negative emotion I've seen out of him. Like, he's just so even keeled but like with a killer instinct. And it doesn't matter how much they've failed throughout 3 quarters. He is still putting that ball up there for Dobbs. He's still hitting Reed and like down that seam in like there's just so much about this kid to love, if you'll pardon the expression. I'm so excited to watch him continue to grow, because that's the other thing. There is a ton to come out of this game with and go, all right, we got a lot of work to do, And do not doubt for a moment that will be, the gist of much of their film work tomorrow. But, man, exciting times, really exciting times. What else we got here, folks? We got Braden. What's up, man? They gave the Saints a first for Peyton, right? A fucking first-round pick. I love it. Aaron, thanks for the super chat, man. Amazing catch by Jaden Reed. Love this team. There you go, Aaron Gonzalez. There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. Matt, thanks for the super chat. The Dobbs TD looked a lot like Rodgers to Tay. Go, Pack, go. It did, didn't it? They found that matchup. Packers legend Isaac Yiadom out there in coverage. The poor Yiadom. I mean, I obviously love Packers won, blah, blah, blah. But, man, they were picking on him big time. They knew that was the matchup. No matter who was going to get the ball, they were going to get lined up. They're going to get them lined up against Yiadom. But thanks to the super chat. How about those young receivers? See, now you go. Now you're getting it. There you go. I mean, I'm kind of kidding, but God, how many times can people go, AJ Dillon? Like, man, I love AJ. He's a dude, and I hope he turns it around. The Packers won. Like, and he was, part of it. But there were so many other components to that game that no one's asking. What about Romeo Dobbs up the left sideline? That insane catch. So many things to talk about. Kyle, thanks to the super chat, man. Cherish watching games like this with my family. All the emotions. Sign me up for the Jordan Love era. Go, Pack, go. See, Kyle, you get it. You get it. See, we're here. Kyle, we're here. I need you to get everybody else there. You know what I'm saying? Zane, thanks again, man. Wicks keeps surprising me every week. Think arrow is pointing way up. Tyler Herrick for Prez. Yeah, Tyler Herrick for president. And yeah, Wicks, it's so funny because he is kind of, quote, forgotten about, because you do see the athleticism upside, the things that make Reed a second-round pick, or Dobbs such a favorite for Love. But, man, Wicks just delivers. He is so promising. And the fact that he's, the third, fourth option sometimes, on fifth when Watson comes back, maybe. I mean, you can really start cooking with gas with these young guys. And you see, my frustration, like in the third quarter, I think I tweeted this out. You see so much spread, so much empty spread where they're just getting these receivers out in space. And against the Saints, they're running a lot of slants, they're running a lot of short stuff, smash routes, what have you. And the Saints were squatting on all of that. And they were like just taking them apart physically, right? There's a lot of physicality at the line of scrimmage, and that's tough for a young guy. That's really tough. And it was clear that for the most part, the refs were going to let them play that way, right? So that when they started to they decided, apparently, Matt and Jordan, I guess, or maybe Steno, whoever, the brain trust, were like, all right, we're down. We're just going to start going down. We're going to go downtown. We're going to push it vertically against this man coverage. Those receivers came to life, man. They won a lot of the time downfield. That's so exciting. I love that. The fact that they were like, okay, you're just going to press us. We're going to take it. And look, it wasn't always pretty. It didn't always work. There was plenty of incompletions, etc. But man, that mentality of like, all right, we're gonna come at you. We're gonna come at your best with our best, and let them compete. Which is my whole complaint on defense. They don't let them really do that. But that's another completely different story. Matthew, thanks to the super chat, man. Pack 41, Minnesota 17, 13-4. Vikings dominated last season. Oh, there's a lot going on there, Matthew. I think you're talking about like the division race and all the close games. But yes, regression to the mean is a thing. Jason, thanks to the super chat. Jaden Reed and his game reminds me of Robert Brooks. Ooh, Robert Brooks. That's a comp. I don't see the Robert Brooks thing. He's not quite the long strider Reed is, but I like any Robert Brooks mention. I'll take it. Most hated, thanks to the super chat. It's my birthday this week, and I just witnessed an amazing comeback win by the Green and Gold and a poop the bed loss by the Vikings. Now, the only thing that would make it better is a win on Thursday. I mean, might as well, right? Why not complete the week? Give you the dream birthday week, most hated. Patrick, holy cow, what an incredibly generous super chat. Thank you so much. Long time, first time, consider this a banana in the tailpipe. Stay cheesy, keep up the good work. Look, they're coming to get you. Can you hear that? My window is open here in New York City, and they saw your super chat, and they're like, oh my God, what is this man doing? They're trying to stop you, but I will accept it graciously, and I really appreciate it, Patrick. That's really, really nice. Banana in the tailpipe. We're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Joe, thanks to the super chat, man. Is this a win that just helps you to live to fight another day, or is it maybe much more than that? I'm going to go with the former with a hint of the latter. That's about, you can take something from it as far as it's never over till it's over. Your belief in Jordan Love. These guys can make some plays, blah, blah, blah. But, man, yeah, essentially at some point it's just survive in advance, and it's collecting W's early in the season to hopefully get you positioned down the stretch to make a playoff push, right? And look, it doesn't hurt that it's an NFC opponent. Those head-to-heads come into play. Every bit counts. No question about it. Nick D, thanks for the super chat, man. Gary's about to get that Powerball money. You ain't lying, man. I wrote in gut reactions. Every time he takes the field, he's getting paid. Portmaster, thanks for the super chat. With all the errors, and we still won. Great work. I like it. Corey, thanks for the super chat. It's been a good day. Vikings choked again. Bears are a dumpster fire, and the Cowgirls are losing. This team is kind of like the 93-94 teams. Young team learning and succeeding. That is an apt comparison, and that is exactly what I've talked about all summer when I talked about a young team setting a foundation, getting ready for another, hopefully, run of contention. This first season is so important as far as setting that foundation. Couldn't agree more, man. George, thanks for the super chat. I love Saints fans saying Packers would have lost if Carr didn't go down. Don't they know we were missing our weapons? No, George, obviously, the injuries only affected the Saints. No injuries affected the Packers at all. The Packers were playing with Bart Starr, Sterling Sharp, Don Hudson, and, Chad Clifton at left tackle. They had, Corey Linsley was at center. The Packers had all of their greatest players ever in the history of their game, and the Saints were hurt. Just so we're clear. Doug, thanks again, buddy. Reed had so many amazing catches and near catches. That one in the end zone. The one in the end zone, I think, is going to haunt him tonight. But, he did have a number of other great plays. And then the one on the sideline. What's crazy is the one he has up the right seam is shortly after he has that one on the out where Jordan throws a perfect ball. He just, it's just a drop, right? Reed will hopefully become a little bit more consistent in that regard. And so will all the guys. Torrey had a drop. I think Dobbs even had a drop today. So it's just, young, inconsistent, hopefully becoming consistent over time. Matt, thanks for super chat, man. While J-Lo's completion percentage hasn't been the best, I love that he trusts his young receivers enough to give them chances to make plays. Very much agreed. And mostly, more often than not, within the rhythm of the play. Because that's the other thing. The scramble drill and all of that is nice, and you get big plays out of that sometimes. But for these receivers to know, I'm getting to the top of my route, I'm making my break, I'm turning, and the ball's going to be there. And if there is coverage, I got a chance at it to make a play. I got an opportunity. Yeah, I'm with you. I love that. Kenneth, thanks for the super chat, man. You think Caleb Williams will be playing for the Vikings or the Bears next year? Damn, Kenneth. I don't know, man. A lot of ball game left. Whole lot of ball game left. We'll see. Maybe it's the Broncos. We'll see. Matthew, thanks for the super chat. Douglas played well and shout out to Savage. I mean, yeah, Ross Sewell's had a strong start to the season overall. I will say with Savage, another up and down game for the most part, but I will say that play he makes on their final third down to keep not only the ball carrier short, obviously, but to tackle him inbounds, it was pretty damn impressive. Like the fact that, they probably are hoping for a broken tackle there. You got him on the ground, man. And he broke on the ball quickly. He broke on the ball carrier quickly. He seemed to diagnose it and see it like as or before it was happening. That's a big time play. Overshadow, what's up? How about Nixon on offense today? How about a first down from Nixon on offense today? Love it. Hopefully we see a little bit more of that. And I did like them putting him back there with the game in the balance on returns. Nothing against Reed, but I like that they were trying to get a spark out of him. And holy shit, is he fearless. I know there was, it was called, there was holding on the play anyway, so probably doesn't go anywhere. But the fact that he just is unbelievably fearless in the face of the rush on punt returns is incredible to me. I mean, he has a dude in his lap as he's catching the ball. He's incredible. Dave, thanks again, man. Go fucking Pack, go. Love what you and Cheesehead TV do. Get that Carry the G beer in Eau Claire. Oh, we're so close, buddy. This week. This is the week. It should be there by the end of this week. You just keep looking and keep watching the cheeseheadtv.com beer page because the list is there. I'll be updating it actually later tonight. We got an email from one of the distributors this afternoon, so it's coming. I promise it's coming. Doug, thanks again, buddy. Many big play guys on this team. Musgrave is due. Yeah, I mean, just missing on that touchdown should have been a touchdown down the seam, and that's a perfect play against the type of coverage that the Saints were not in all day, but for a lot of the day where they're playing man under and or any kind of combination of two high safeties, sometimes man, sometimes zone, cover two, whatever. But, man, you run Musgrave down the seam, and it looked like the linebacker was trying to take him and just got smoked. And, yeah, if Jordan Thistle's a little bit better of a ball, that's gone. That's housed. So that's what's fun. Like I said earlier, it's fun to be able to go back and try to make those types of corrections after a win. You absolutely love that. All right, everybody, I got to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers after every game, throughout the week on Packers Daily, visiting Corey and myself every Wednesday on Packer Transplants. And look, a lot of you have been checking in about Carry the G and MKE. I really appreciate you checking out myself and Camille every Monday. Packers Playbook will be back on Tuesday. We've got stuff each and every day here at Cheesehead TV. Thank you so much. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Go Pack, go.